everybody. It is a marvelous Monday morning. It is not quite as hot as it's going to get today, and it is going to be a hot scorcher. Can I just tell you, hot scorchers and me don't get along. I find the air conditioning and I try to stay busy in the air conditioning. If you are working outside, please remember to stay hydrated. Take water with you. Make sure you snack along the way because you will sweat out any calories you take in. It is going to be hot. It was hot on Saturday. It was hot in more ways than one. We had a really, really good weekend. And on Saturday, we opened the doors to our new model home at Malone's Pond and invited a lot of folks in, and they enjoyed first of all, they enjoyed the food, they enjoyed the fantastic home, and they enjoyed the fellowship. And it was so, so cool to see so many people getting to know each other who came from various places, but most of them came within 30 miles of ball ground. And I love that. That's such a compliment that they're willing to leave the communities where they've been and come to the tiny, tiny city of ball ground. They love the walkability. They love the friendships that they've already made by stopping in the local restaurants and getting to know people. It was a great weekend. Couldn't have pulled it off without sweet Dinah West and Miss Ann Atkins with Bank South. Miss Ann was there for this and that and helping. Miss Dinah was there to make sure that the world's largest shrimp cocktail stayed full. We had a really, really good weekend, and thank you to everybody who came. Thank you to everybody who spent time, because people just sat down and enjoyed the moment. It was really cool. Nobody was in a hurry to leave. Nobody said, oh, I just wanted to run by for a minute. No, they stayed, they shared, they talked about their home plans, they talked about what lot they liked. It was just really, really a fun day. So thank you to everybody who contributed to that, including my buddy, Miss Donna Underwood. And I got to show y'all something. We gave away ETC goodie bags full of things, and Evelyn made these cute tags that says, be kind, be sweet, be home. And it doesn't get any better than that. But let me show you what Donna did with the help of another local Jasper girl. We had little honey to give away, and that was the whole concept of the day. We wanted you to leave feeling sweet. And this is local honey. Remember to buy honey from the local beekeepers and get you some and do it every single day. But is that not precious? Donna did those, and I love that. She's such a sweetheart. And let me just say, I've got so many friends who are cancer survivors, and that is just such good news to know that there are cancer survivors among us. Now this is from Christ Bakery, and you see that? It has the logo of Berkshire Homes. Christ Bakery does the most amazing, unique cakes. She is located on Highway 20, way out Highway 20, kind of toward the Bartow County line. But honey, it is worth it because she operates out of her home and has a licensed business, and it is amazing. And then Miss Ann gave us things. This is a jar opener, and how cool is that? So we had goodies to give away. But one of the things we gave away, and I learned some things that day about the area that ETC now serves, because ETC now serves a much larger, broader area than they did in the past. They are growing, they are doing well, and they're even over near Waleska. And it was so funny, I was showing a house near Waleska, and I just wasn't sure why an ETC sign was there. I thought somebody had stolen the sign. But when I look at where they're going and what they're doing, it is absolutely amazing. So if you're new to the area, pick up the phone and call 706-253-2271 and say, hey, I understand your customer service is amazing, and it is. It is local. It is over 100 years old. And if you chase me down, I still have a few of the $30 off coupons, so chase me down, and I have some of these I will share with you. Speaking of sharing, this weekend there was a whole lot of music shared, and Trace was there, and he captured this, and it will be edited and shown on ETC at the Fiddlers Convention. Fiddlers, banjos, mandolins, all these things, and bands. And today we're going to talk about the winter. We're going to talk about It's amazing. 10 states were represented. 10 states. But before we do that, what happened special this weekend? It was Father's Day. And I hope that you had a chance to honor and to spend time with your father. And if your father has gone on to be with Jesus, then you know that your father's in a pretty good place. It's very weird to me because I never got to spend a Father's Day with my father. And it's always kind of a weird day for me. So I kind of just get through it. But I found something. You know, I love Mike Smith's book. And Mike is still recovering from knee surgery. And it's kind of kicked him. It's kicked him. So Miss Diane didn't kick him. This knee surgery kicked him. I want to read something. My father's hands. My wife has always looked at members of our family to see what features we may have picked up from our parents. She may say someone had his father's eyes or his mother's smile, but she has always reminded me that I have hands that look like my father's. To me, that is one of the greatest compliments she could ever pay me. What my father did with his hands, I can never achieve. My father's hands were those that were helped people all throughout life. My mother always told me that the greatest satisfaction was helping us. He took care of his own family. He would fix our cars, our houses, and anything else that broke down. When he passed on to be with the Lord, I remember looking at his hands finally at rest. Hands that had been bruised and discolored because of his thin, fragile skin. Hands that had helped us with others. Hands that were tired and a body that was worn out. In a spiritual sense, all believers in Jesus, as believers in Jesus, we all have our Heavenly Father's hands, hands that He wants us to use to help people. Jesus showed up, and that's how we use hands. When He was on His earth, He used His hands to take action, driving money changers from the temple, caring for and healing the sick, and laying His hands on children to bless them. And He took them in His arms and blessed them, laying His hands on them. Moses, God's servant, prayed a prayer that's recorded in Psalms about hands. Your hands and mine, let the favor of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish the work of our hands upon us. Yes, establish the work at our hands. May God help us use the gifts that He's given us to help people with our Father's hands. Our Father did give us hands to help, and this weekend I could not have pulled off what we did without Miss Dinah West. She is precious, and Charlene was there to help me, one of our VPR agents, and Glenn Schley. No way could we have done it without him. I look back at all these hands and all these helpers, and they were there because they're loving, good, kind people. And when we get together and we gather with people that agree with us and understand our way of thinking, we all look around and we all believe that the Lord is God and that He has blessed us with a surrounding of just good folks. So what a blessing this weekend was. And if you're looking to ever cater or do something, pick up the phone and call Dinah West. She's one of my dear, dear friends. And I just called her and said, hey, I need help. Can you come? And of course she did. I worked till 10:30 Friday night getting my part of the deal ready. And then she showed up, and she did amazing meatballs, and she did a beautiful charcuterie, and she was there all day long serving and helping and being that pleasant guiding light. At the end of the day, she and I and Charlene were standing there, and I looked and I said, how strange is it that the three women standing here who have worked together all day long for somebody else's benefit, all three lost children. We all three lost children, and it was so weird because we just kind of said, wow, what a common denominator to have. But it didn't make us bitter. It didn't make us angry. It kind of made us better, I think. And that's just weird because you look at life now and you think, what can I do to make somebody else's life better? Because we've kind of passed the stage of getting through the heartache and the grief of losing a child. And so, sure, give back, give back. I think it makes a tremendous, it makes a difference in the way you feel because you know that you're doing something for somebody else. So it was a great pleasure to welcome everybody into the beautiful model home at Bircher Homes, Malone's Pond. We had a blast. And the greatest thing about it was people stayed and stayed and stayed. They just visited, they hung out, they sat, they enjoyed, they told stories to each other about where they were from, what they were doing, and it was fun. It was just an amazing, amazing day. And there is sweet Holly, and when I leave here today, I'm going over to Mike's restaurant, because you know why? It's Monday collard green day, and so I really need some collard greens. I need a little green in my cheeks, so yeah. So it's just been it was a great weekend, and I hope that you got to do something special with your daddy. I hope that there was, if he's still here, you know, you think about so many people who don't live near their parents. Tori's 5,000 miles from us, but her dad jumped on a plane and he flew up to Alaska to be with her, so they got to be together for Father's Day, and that was so exciting. I'm so glad that they did, and it worked out. He gets a great vacation time, and they're going to spend time doing stuff together. So now that I have eaten healthy this weekend. I ate enough pineapple. I ate pineapple, blueberries, strawberries, celery. I ate lots of celery. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but boy, I had a lot of fruit. And the celery I think I liked as good as anything. But boy, did we have some good food. And again, it was just a labor of love and an effort to give back. And that's what we should all do. Have an opportunity to give back. And then we celebrated a special lady. She came and we did a video for her son and daughter-in-law who are looking to upgrade and hopefully move to Malone's Pond. Well, it was her birthday, so I just said, sit down, we're going to have you a little birthday celebration. So we did, and it was fun. And did the video, and she said, all I want for my birthday is my kids to buy a house here, and it'll be close to me. So yeah, wouldn't that be awesome? So happy birthday, Miss Deborah, and happy birthday to Kim, our broker. Kim Potter Bird celebrated a very, very special birthday. When you're a cancer survivor, every birthday is very, very special. And she's a very special lady, and happy, happy birthday, Kim. I hope you had a great, great weekend with your family. And again, one of those people who gives back. Now, talk about giving back. Those two dads, Lonnie and Donnie Fountain, have given and given and given. And they did a special fishing tournament again with special needs children. They have done this for over 15 years, and it's just amazing to see what they get out of this trip. It's not about them, it's about the kids. And they all come home and they have amazing stories of how these kids have never seen a fish, never seen a fish this big for sure. And many of them have never been on a boat. So it's just an amazing time as they give back. And that's what good dads do. And they are truly good dads. So we honor the Fountain twins as once again, they did something for somebody else. And I think that's a life's lesson. If you're doing for somebody else, you will be rewarded. You will definitely be rewarded. It may not be here, but it will be. And you will be rewarded. And it's so sweet to see these guys. And I know the story of the first trip they made. They couldn't even get home for crying as they were driving, because it was just so emotional to see the difference in seeing somebody catch their first fish, seeing them spend time on the water, seeing them reflect on God's beauty. And it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome. And again, they've done this for over 15 years, and they would, no matter what weekend it is, they always make a point to go, to be there, to be a part of it. And I'm very proud of that. They're giving back all the time, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about. So today we're going to share something about giving back, because when Hans Rufert got sick and ended up not being able to do television, I ended up here. And it was very weird, because I'd never done live TV before, and you know, I'd done recorded Heart of the Home years and had a fun time with that, and we did that. And then Roger Futch said, "Can you do live TV?" I said, "Sure, I can do live TV." So my director from Atlanta had said, "Oh yeah, you can do it. You hit your mark every time, no problem, do it." I did it. I couldn't have done it without some very, very special people. And today we're going to honor them. I talked to Matt, and he's so busy he's full-time pastor. He's still about twice a month. He and Melton and Darren get together, and his son-in-law, John David, and they get out and they sing. They still sing. He still loves singing. And once upon a time, he asked me, he said, if I had to give up something, what would I give up? I said, I don't know, Matt, that's a big question, because I said, you preach the gospel and you deliver the word, but you also deliver the word in song to people who may not ever go to church. So I said, I don't know how you would decide. Well, when we had him here, he would deliver a message. And one of the messages that I loved was when we took him up to Fields of the Wood, and that is on YouTube. If you haven't seen that, check it out, because this man had been touring with the Inspirations, drove all night long to get here from Kansas, and then we stood him up on the mountain and we said, okay, now deliver a message, and he did. They always stepped up to the plate to help me. They were always here when I needed them. On Monday, it was Bill. On Tuesday, it was Melton. On Wednesday, it was Matt, and we just went round and round, and then Angela and Charlene, and then Freddie, and then Mr. Ellijay. We just kept adding, you know, and we always had, everybody brought something different to the table, but it was always something good and positive. And today we're going to honor all those co-hosts who made it happen for me. And I look back and I think, wow, everybody had to get back to the real world, had to go to their jobs. It was a long drive for Melton. It was a long drive for Matt. It's still, Matt will come and do a show, and it's 2.5 hours. So it was hard to do, and but what memories. So today we're going to take you back, and we're going to travel those memories. The one thing that we had to have in common with my co-host is they had to be conservative, Christian, and funny. And you just have to be to do live television, because sometimes crazy things happen. And we actually had a blooper up in Blue Ridge when we were doing a live show, and that thing is loaded on YouTube, and everybody just dies laughing at it. It was crazy because they couldn't remember the song, the words to a song that they'd done for 40 years, and they just couldn't remember it, and they kept having to redo it. Jimmy Pearson and Miss Rita were there. Jimmy's gone to be with the Lord, so Father's Day for the Pearson family was very different. There's so many things that changed, and it's in His timing. It is in His time, and there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to accept it. So today, we're going to take you back. We're going to do a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to visit with all the co-hosts at different times. We're going to share some memories, and I hope that you will reflect and remember and laugh. We want a little laughter today. Here we go.
Whether you're in the mood for chicken strips, a delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time, and delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
Georgia Medical Treatment Center now has 2 locations to bring you the high-quality holistic care you've come to know and expect. We treat neck, back, and joint pain with chiropractic care and injection-based treatment without the need for surgery or prescription painkillers. Our medical weight loss program can also provide relief while ridding your body of toxins, pounds, and inches while improving your overall health. Call today for a free consultation, 770-345-2000, or go online to georgiamtc.com.
You know, how you feel on the inside is just as important to me as how you feel on the outside.
Oh, Daddy.
I'm grown up, in every way, care and take care of you. You're my grown up, and I know you're there.
I'm a grown up, and you know I care.
'Cause it's you and me and me and you.
So when you are okay or not okay, I'll take care of you.
See us anytime you can.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece or just making memories? Writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
It is a sunshiny day in the south, and it's going to brighten up brighter than anything because my bright and shining co-host Bill Sinyard is here. How many years were you the co-host here that you just made the day better?
I think it was about 58 years.
Yeah, about 58 years with music and madness and craziness. And you dubbed my makeup Cherie Stay Makeup, and you got by with teasing me a lot. And often people would think he was mean to me. No. That's the way we wanted it to be.
Well, I only did what I was getting paid to do.
That's right. I'd say, really get me today, and he really would. Today, on the way to work, I became an angry old white woman. I looked at the gas prices, and I said, oh my gosh. I bought gas yesterday. It was $2.99. Today, it's $3.19.9. Explain that to me.
Well, my wife says that they do it because they can.
Exactly.
There's no other reason.
No other reason. They do it because they can.
We can't stop them.
We put up with the foolishness. We are the problem. So we're going to blame ourselves for not voting right, for not throwing out those dummies who are doing this to us, and for not really making them accountable, because they're not accountable to anything. If you'll look, they're not accountable for anything. They jack our taxes up. We don't care. We still do stupid stuff. They, interest rates. Are you kidding me? The interest rates. I called yesterday. I'm helping a young man to buy the house that he grew up in. His payment on a $200,000 house is $1,555 a month. Now, what do you think of that?
I wouldn't want it.
Is that not ridiculous?
Yeah, it is ridiculous, but what do you do? I mean, rent is that much in places.
Exactly. That's what they said. You either rent to build your own wealth, which I advise that to everybody. And what is that saying? You marry the rate, and you marry the house and divorce the rate. After the rate comes down, then you redo it. Well, then you have more closing costs.
And you usually extend the number of years.
Exactly.
So
but we've got to do something. Because first-time buyers are no longer, they're sad and they're depressed. And depression.
I often ask people nowadays, how are people just getting out of high school and college going to make it?
I don't know. I don't know.
We talked a little bit before the show about how I told some guys in their 80s that they've lived the better days of this country, because even though wages weren't as much back then, things didn't cost near as much back then, so you were actually able to make it a little bit better. And those people actually saved money. Yeah. And it's hard to do that for people nowadays.
Well, when you think about it, and I think about this a lot, my first job in Atlanta, an official job, I had a bunch of little flunky monkey jobs, but my first official job, I made $65 a week, brought home $51.21 a week. That's only $200 a month that I brought home. Yeah. Okay, our rent, we were renting a little place next door to Krispy Kreme on Ponce de Leon in Atlanta. It was $90 a month for rent. That's high rent when you're bringing home $200 a month. But I had a roommate, and I had 2 more jobs. I didn't live on that $65 a week. And I think that's the difference today. I know somebody 2 miles from here who wouldn't get a job in a pie factory. And I get so angry, I just want to smack her. Because I'm like, you are not Princess Diana. Get off your dead butt and go to work. But she's like, oh, this and oh, that. And I'm like, oh, get over it. You and I have both worked 2 jobs most of our lives, because that's the American dream. You can do it. You can have as many jobs as you want, because jobs are everywhere. And then we got Princess Diana sitting out there that can't work. Oh, I'm depressed. I'm traumatized. But get over it. Just get over it and go to work.
Well, the old scripture says, if a man doesn't work, neither shall he eat.
Exactly.
So.
She's eating good because she's got people helping her, and it just makes me so mad I could choke. And then we have single women, like my granddaughter, who is working, going to college, taking care of her child, gets no aid from the federal government. She didn't qualify for food stamps. She makes too much. She doesn't make too much. She doesn't even make enough to rent a place to live.
She didn't cross the border, did she?
She didn't cross the border. There you go. She didn't cross the border.
That's another story.
That's another story. But I told her yesterday, I said, Ansley Elizabeth, we're going to keep applying for you help until your nanny's on the news. And your nanny's going to be on the news nationwide because I'm going to blow a gasket. It's not fair that the hardworking, the ones bettering themselves by going to college, the ones raising their children themselves and not giving them up so DFACS has to deal with them, can't get help. And it makes me so mad I could puke and choke. And what do you get out of it? She just keeps smiling and saying, well, Nanny, she's healthy, we're happy, da-da-da-da-da. And good. I'm like, that, yeah, that's she has attitude. A positive attitude, yeah.
It goes a long way.
It goes a long way.
There's a lot of things that we talk about here you can't fix, I can't fix, it's just too big for us to fix. Voting does help, of course, to get the right people in.
Right.
But the system is broken.
The system is totally, absolutely, it's annihilated.
It needs fixing, as they say.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to somebody the other night, and she asked me how old I was, and I told her, and she said, you are not. And I said, I are too.
You didn't lie, did you?
No, I told her the truth, and she said, are you serious? She said, I had never thought that. And I said, I've seen it all, lady. I've been here so long, I've seen it all. You and I are not too far apart, but we remember good times, bad times.
Don't say I'm old.
You're not old. But I remember a happy, healthy childhood where we went to the park, we played, our mom told us, cross the street, be careful, watch when you cross the street, go to the park and play. When you get hungry, come home, I'll fix you lunch, I'll go back to the park. Kids can't even do that today, Bill.
We talked about the other day, my wife and I were talking about how I used to ride a bicycle in Cartersville from downtown Cartersville out to near the Indian Mounds on the river out there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 6 or 7 mile ride, or not 8 mile ride.
Today you would
my
be
grandmama out there.
You would be stolen. You would be trafficked in sex slave. I mean, there are so many things happening on our streets in America that we don't want to talk about, we don't want to discuss, because we don't want to really believe that it's happening. It is happening.
Oh, it's happening.
It is happening. And I was looking, you know, when you think about the young lady at Georgia who, you know, first of all, she had done her college, doing her RN, succeeding, successful, bright young life was snuffed out because. And it's because we have an open border. It's because we have a politician at that house that we won't discuss because then we'll get, but at that house that needs to be removed, because I think the damage that has been done with letting in those millions and millions of people that haven't been vetted, most of them, a lot of them have come out of jails in Venezuela, in Honduras, and it's crazy what they have turned loose on American streets. I don't think in my lifetime or your lifetime it can be corrected.
Probably not. And I think it goes a little deeper in that too, because a lot of families in this nation, mamas and daddies don't stay together anymore.
Right.
And it affects the child, and so.
Pam McRae have all been faced with the same problem. Freddie, you dealt with your brother Ronnie, who died of cancer after how many months?
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half.
At age 48.
48. Now, what kind of cancer did Ronnie have?
It was stomach and esophagus.
Right. Angela, you helped take care of Mom. She lasted 2 years?
Yeah.
About 2 years. Pam, every day you see somebody that you cook for, that you help. Every single person here has been affected by cancer.
Right.
And you decided to do this program to help caregivers.
Exactly.
Those are the people, when you took care of Ronnie, did you feel a little pressure because you wanted to be there? You didn't feel like you could leave. It's important to spend the extra time with them.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you get to feel a little bit down. I know I did. When after 11 months and 3 weeks of taking care of my late husband and my mother, I got really depressed, and I needed something to cheer me up. Now, Pam, you've come up with a great idea for cheering up somebody.
Well, I'd like to take full credit for it, but I can't. One day I was a little bit down, feeling a little bit blue, and Mary Hopkins brought a little gift in to me, and we'll show you that later on in this segment, about a little box of cheer, she called it, and it really worked and it raised my spirits. So when you and I were discussing Heart of the Home, what better person to observe today and honor is the caregiver, because they get forgotten, just like you said.
That's true.
You want to talk about what we're doing for them today?
We do. One thing we want to talk about is sometimes I get really, not tired, but down just a little bit. And when I get quiet, you always say, what's wrong? If I get quiet, you think something's wrong. Sometimes I get thoughtful and I think about things, and I do get a little bit down. I have found the best way to stay positive and stay focused is to think about somebody else. To think about somebody else, and something small you can do for that. Your mom is a great person to bake cookies for somebody. Do a little something for somebody. Now, your Aunt Betty is facing cancer right now. And her husband has been instrumental in getting her through this, hadn't he?
Yes, he has.
He's a great, great guy, and together they're going to conquer this. But everybody needs a little positive somebody coming into your life. And today we're going to show little things you can do for that caregiver. Just a little something. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Tell me about the pear preserves you got on North Georgia Now today.
I know. I've been really sick with a bug.
For a week.
And I actually lost 10 pounds in a week and a half. So I know I was very sick. But these pear preserves have been on my mind for a while, and you know, sometimes you get to thinking about a food and you want it because of the texture, the flavor, and I love the grittiness of the pear and the sweet. And I got surprised with Freddie's mama made pear preserves and sent them, and that was my little treat, you know, that I got to eat, and actually kept it down and was very happy because that's a homemade gift.
And just
that
a
you
little,
cannot,
a little gesture.
For nothing,
a little gesture.
And matter of fact, where is it?
It's here. It's here, and we're going to show it in just a minute. We're going to get some of Pam's biscuits. Show it, not share it. That's right. We're going to get some of the jelly and some of your biscuits, and we're going to talk about if you do nothing but bake a little basket of bread and take to your neighbor. Take to somebody who possibly, one of the things when I was a caregiver, being there 24/7 got very, very hard. If somebody would relieve me for an hour, just 1 hour, it made such a difference.
But then you have to live with the guilt of leaving for an hour.
Exactly.
You know, because you want to stay positive that the person's going to make it and live, but then in the back of your mind when you leave, you're thinking, well, I'm leaving and they could pass on. You know, so you've got constant turmoil inside of you, taking care of the person, then the guilt of, do I leave? Do you know, you need time for yourself.
But they need to take that break to get refreshed, to bring back positive energy. You know, if you just keep going, you get down and out. You know, go off and just make yourself get away and grab on some new strength. You know,
one of the things we talked about with cancer, stress is a big cancer thing. Now, Ronnie was in the trucking business and the grading business. A lot of stress there. And stress is something we need to kind of keep down. I have learned this year to appreciate just little things, just little things. And I have a friend, Sue Taylor, who actually brought me some Blue Frog today, and it has actually given me some energy. I'd never tried it before. Now, you've had some, I've had some. It's got natural sugars in it, and it actually revitalizes you. Since you've been sick, I think it'd be good if you drank a little bit of this, and it boosts you a little bit, you know. It's got a lot of good things in it.
Harsh like a soda, or is it mild like a juice? No,
it's mild. It's mild like a juice, yeah. So to kick you up a little bit, but Sue has been instrumental in helping us raise money in McKaysville.
A lot of money for the meal.
A lot of money, and that is, everybody can do a little something. A little something.
Barbecue, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So today, Pam is going to introduce us to some new, easy things that everybody can do.
This one here's a half a second.
Yeah, it looks like a razor ray thing.
This is a cheating version of a seizure. The iceberg is kind of starting to become obsolete.
Yeah.
So you can get it for nothing. It's pennies. So you take your iceberg lettuce, core it, wedge it. They cut this wedge a little big, but anyway. You wedge it, you lay it on the plate, you drizzle your dressing, you sprinkle some bacon bits on the top.
Is that a homemade dressing?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But you can make homemade Caesar dressing.
Okay.
But that was just out of the bottle. Quick and easy, simple, save time. And this dressing
Would you
is
show
a good
up
dressing.
with this as a meal for a caregiver?
Well, my idea of what I would do, if you're trying to get in my mindset, is I would have that caregiver come to my house, and I would host and have it all about her from beginning to end, you know.
A full treat.
A full treat. That time away, relaxing, you know, and this is her
And
first
really,
thing.
1 hour. If you can just give them 1 hour.
Yeah. You know, and just wait on her, you know, take care of it. And we're saying her. There's lots of guys like Freddie that have done caregiving, you know. But you want to leave them recharged. But this is the beginning step, the first small thing, so that you can spend time sharing with your friend and talking and helping boost their spirits instead of fussing over a big old salad. You just cut your wedge off there and go for it.
And I think one of the things, did you find you needed somebody to talk to when Ronnie was sick?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
I think that's really important.
And you also need your time to yourself to reevaluate yourself, because there's a lot of things going through your mind.
That's
at that
right.
time.
That's right. Well, we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to go to some great music. We have a lady here today who is doing, you're a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll. I love the old country music. You taught me about a lady, Miss Loretta Lynn, I've loved her forever. Connie Smith, I loved forever. Today we brought a lady in from Nashville who's going to sing a song once a day. Now it's from a time period, how old are you?
Hi, I'm Cherie Martin. Tonight on Heart of the Home, I promised you a rich, rich recipe, and wow, is it rich. I've been eating this cake for about 30-something years. You were 2 years old.
No, because I'm only 29.
Well, okay. My daughter Angela was only 2 the first time I had this cake. Gosh, does that make me or you old?
Neither one.
Okay, neither one. It is a rich recipe. This was submitted by Doreen Lee. She's from Kankakee, Illinois. And she got the recipe from, I think, a junior league cookbook there many, many years ago. Rich, rich, rich chocolate cinnamon cake. Rich and good. Now, I made my first one last week, and Angela's going to go over the ingredients for you.
There are 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of butter, a 1/4 cup baking cocoa, 1 cup water, 1/2 cup of buttermilk, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 eggs, and 1 teaspoon of salt.
Now, if y'all have been tuning in to Heart of the Home, we all know I'm not much at measuring. Now, we're going to add, we are actually measuring, aren't we? We measured today.
We don't do that.
Well, we're measuring today because this cake is pretty precise, and we need to measure this. Okay, Angela, we have combined 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of sugar. We sifted that, and now we're melting our cup of butter with our cocoa and our water. We're going to let that melt good, and then we're going to pour it over the dry ingredients, and then we're going to add our buttermilk and our cinnamon and our vanilla and our eggs.
And our soda.
Tiny bit of soda, tiny bit of salt. It's going to be ready to bake. This is a simple recipe using plain flour.
And the chocolate's already smelling so good.
Oh man, this chocolate smells great. This is what makes this cake rich. Butter and chocolate, kind of like a man with a 401k and a state retirement. Now,
and
that's
an out-of-town hobby.
Oh my gosh, that's rich. That's rich. Now this is what, a 10 by 15 pan?
Sure.
It's a little bit larger than normal, and that's the size pan that this recipe requires. It's going to be in the oven for 30 minutes or until a toothpick put in comes out dry. Do not overbake it. My first one, I did overbake it, so watch it closely. Now this rich, rich recipe for our icing is, Angela, the amount of butter is 1 cup of butter, 1 bag of 10x sugar,
1/4 cup of cocoa,
1/4 cup of cocoa,
6 tablespoons of milk, a teaspoon of vanilla.
That's it.
Boil it in a saucepan.
That is it, guys, and it is so simple, and you pour it over the cake hot. Man, I think this deserves the rich and powerful. Man, it's good. These walnuts came from Harris Farm, and they're big chunks of walnuts. You can use pecans, you can use walnuts. I just happen to have a ton of walnuts we picked up out on the ground and shelled. Oh, wow.
Yummy.
Wow, yummy. Just a hint of cinnamon and a whole lot of rich chocolate. Now, what do you think of that?
I think that looks yummy enough to eat.
I think that looks yummy. I think Doreen had a good idea. This was a great recipe, guys. Angela, I promised you this was going to be rich and hot.
Oh, Tori!
Hey! Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
Home from college.
I smelled this all the way in Atlanta, so I had to come up.
Okay, good idea. Tori, there you go, honey. The third generation gets the cake. 3 generations, a great recipe. Bye-bye. It's great to have you home, sweet.
Welcome to Ellijay. Boy, what an appropriate thing to say this morning, Dwight Sanford. Mr. Ellijay is with me. Do you want to tell folks a little bit about how you got rooked into being here today? Because the audience is full of people who said, Dwight, can you do something for me? And you made a mistake. You said, yeah, I'll do it. And the rest is history.
Yeah, well, we were having a parade, and first we were lined up with one guy, and then it went to another person, this lady. And when she got in the car, she didn't know me.
Didn't know your song.
She'd never heard my song. And didn't know that I'm Mr. Ellijay.
No.
And so we kept talking, and after a while I said, did you hear the song? No. No, what song? And I said, do you know who I am? No. I don't know who you are. So we went on, and we were riding the parade. We went around and did the thing, you know. She kept saying, rev the engine, rev the engine. Yeah, so I did. And after a while, we had some more talks, and she's interviewed a lot of people. This lady here, you've interviewed Earl Thomas Conley.
Donna Fargo.
Donna Fargo. Brian Wilson.
Yeah.
Tell me, which way do you think your career's going right now? Now you got me.
I have challenged you to do something.
Isn't that a little backwards?
That's a little backwards. No. I challenged you to do something because you made the mistake of telling me that the songs actually come to you. You're on a tractor, and it just comes across your shoulder, and in 10 minutes you can write a song. So I said, okay, big boy, you've got it knocked down with Ellijay. You have 200,000 views on YouTube. Now you're going to write a song about ball ground. And you looked at me like I'd lost my mind. Yeah.
It all depends on the tractor. You know.
It does the tractor.
It's about the tractor.
Yeah, it's about the tractor, yeah. Yeah.
But I feel a little bit better because she interviewed Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
And there was a guy there that day.
Yeah, a guy.
And she also didn't know him.
No.
She didn't know him either. So would you like to tell us who that guy was?
That guy was Glenn Campbell. And I looked at the Beach Boys and I said, who's this guy sitting next to me? And they said, Glenn Campbell. And I said, who's that?
Well,
so when I didn't know you, it was okay.
I'm in a group with Glenn Campbell.
Exactly.
So I'll go along with that. You didn't know me and you didn't know Glenn Campbell.
And it was kind of funny because number one, I'm a Chevelle girl. And so you show up in a 57 Ford and I'm already thinking, but you were so polite and you opened the car door for me and I thought, oh my God, he's so nice.
I'm a gentleman.
And then I get in the car and I realize that there's no 396 under the hood. And it's a 317 1957 T-Bird engine.
312, yeah.
312, okay, a 312. And it doesn't make quite the noise that the Chevelles do. So immediately I asked you, could we please have a Chevelle before the next parade? And you replied, you're spending my money already.
Yeah, you're already spending my money, yeah.
Exactly, and I said, that's what women do. But
yeah, well,
you have several cars. You have several passions, but music is certainly that passion.
Yeah, I love music. I always have.
Started when you were 5 years old, when your mom?
My mom, it was 1962. Now I'm revealing my age.
Yeah.
But don't matter. Proud of it. I said I want to learn something on the guitar. I was 5 years old. My hand was too little to reach. Mm-hmm. And she sat me up in the middle of the bed and laid a guitar across my lap, okay? And she showed me this little song.
Wow.
It was called Chewin' Chawing Gum.
Wow.
Yeah, and I played it with my thumb. I couldn't reach anything else.
That's wow.
And
5 years old.
Yeah, 5 years old. And then I started learning Johnny Cash, and then I got to where one day I could reach the neck.
And that was it. Danger.
Yeah, and there we went.
Yeah, yeah. What other influences did your mom have on you? Did she write too?
My mom wrote songs. She sure did. Her name was Audrey, by the way, Audrey Davis Sanford. She wrote songs and she sang harmony. She could sing any part, and right along on the fly. Okay, you just start singing and she'd start singing too. On the fly, I'm telling you, she could just nail it every time.
Wow.
She was very talented and yeah, big influence.
And there's another lady who's a big influence in your life today, and
Yeah,
she
there's
is your
another one.
aunt.
Yeah, it's little Aunt Margie.
Yes, yes.
She's a handful.
And
it is so good to be back in Ellijay, Georgia.
That's right. Ain't it good to be back home again?
Yeah, it is, but
I wanted him to sing that
Yeah.
song so bad. And he
There's a storm across the valley, clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulder. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, a mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder.
We're going to give you this great apple recipe, really easy. Peanut butter bread and apples, that's pretty simple. And I bet you you're going to like it.
well, I don't think it'd be a good idea for me to try it on the set,
I think
because
it'd be a great idea.
I may have to leave the set.
Now, we're not going to say that we stayed up all night long and did these, right? But we will say you took the motorhome under something that said 11 foot and the motorhome's 12 feet. How did we do that?
We wasn't sure we was going to be getting our wings this morning.
Hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm feels like a long lost friend. Yes, and hey, it's good to be back home again. There's all
And if you was wondering why I was singing and doing this, because if you'll watch Cherie, she'll just sit there and she'll just. Oh, is that what you're doing? You're just rubbing your quilt.
I love my
Okay.
quilt. I
All
love
right.
my quilt, yes.
And your mother called last Friday. Sunshine made her cry. You felt the baby move just yesterday. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm feels like a long lost friend. Yes, and hey, it's good to be back home again.
Have a name, let's call them Misfits.
They might not appreciate that.
I don't know. Let's go down to some awesome music. Here we are, Matt Dodwood.
And we're going this time.
We are.
All right, cut the camera off.
Madeline, yeah.
Listen, I will say is he's younger than me, and that's all I'm going to say.
Well, 58's younger than you. Try it again. It's not 58.
Sweetest thing I know of, just spending time with you. It's the little things that make a house a home. Like a fire softly burning, supper on the stove. The light in your eyes that makes me warm. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm feels like a long lost friend. Yeah, it's good to be back home again. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm feels like a long lost friend. Yes, and hey, it's good to be back home again. I said, hey, it's good to be back home again.
My home's in Ball Ground, Georgia. No matter where I lay my head.
This is not the end, it's resurrection ground. We gather together to say our goodbyes to our precious loved one. Oh, how our hearts ached inside. Then we went to the place where they lowered their body down. Some call it a grave, I call it resurrection ground. Resurrection ground, no more graves allowed. We'll meet them in the air, no more parting there. With Jesus we'll be for all eternity. This is not the end, it's resurrection ground. Jesus said, because I live, ye shall live also. What a promise. We come here often where our loved ones lay. It seems like yesterday we joined hands to pray. How sweet it would be if we were standing round when this cold grave, it turns to resurrection ground. Resurrection ground, no more graves allowed. We'll meet them in the air, no more parting there. With Jesus we'll be for all eternity. This is not the end, it's resurrection ground. Resurrection ground, no more graves allowed. We'll meet them in the air, no more parting there. With Jesus we'll be for all eternity. This is not the end, it's resurrection ground. This is not the end, it's resurrection ground. You know, I thank the Lord for songs with meaning. That's why I love singing with the Inspirations, because we have a message, not just music. Back in 1992, my brother and his wife had to go through the deepest valley they'd ever been through and ever will go through. They had a little 3-year-old girl that one week she was playing in my backyard with my little 3-year-old girl. And just the following week, we had no idea that she'd be rushed to the hospital. Just as normal as any child playing in my backyard one week, the next week rushed into the emergency room. 2 days later, going through a major brain surgery, having a tumor. Through complications and different things that took place, the Lord saw fit to take little Marie Beth Dibler home. Just a matter of weeks, just a matter of days. But you know, a couple days later, we had to go out to the graveyard and see a little white 48-inch casket. Some of you have been there. We had to watch that casket go down into the ground, and I thought, what could I say to my brother? I wanted to be an encouragement to him. But although I didn't have the words to say, I'm glad that God still gives a song in the darkest night. We want you to listen to this last verse again, because this is the song in his darkest night that God gave my brother the very day that he buried his 3-year-old daughter. We come here often where our loved ones lay. It seems like yesterday we joined hands to pray. How sweet it would be if we were standing round when this cold grave, it turns to resurrection ground. Resurrection ground, no more graves allowed. We'll meet them in the air, no more parting there.
This is not the end, it's resurrection ground. This is not the end, it's resurrection ground.
On the front porch singing old familiar song. The tractor's in the barn and the pastor's freshly mown. Looking through the screen door, the aroma draws you in to the heart of the home where old memories begin. The heart of the home is calling you in. Cherie's in the kitchen cooking with her friends, sharing recipes together, stories and songs, making new memories, the heart of the home.
Wow, welcome to Heart of the Home, away from home but not very far from home. Now, Charlene, my bubbly co-host on North Georgia Now, you can answer this question. Regina, you can answer this question. Poor Danny Jones from Singing News has no idea what we're going to slam him with. What's Cherie Martin's favorite thing to make for dinner?
Reservations.
Reservations at a great restaurant. And we are in a wonderful, wonderful old inn in Jasper, Georgia. We're at the Woodbridge Inn. Now, the Woodbridge Inn is 2 minutes from your office and about 4 minutes from my office and maybe 5 minutes from your house.
Close as I want it to be.
Regina, we have had so many wonderful meals here. We've had so many wonderful memories here. My cooking for the public started here 38 years ago. I got a job when I left Atlanta. I was the baker here. And at that time, my last name was Baker. Well, I worked for Will.
The past 18 years, when I think about Heart of the Home began, Lori Tipton, and so many crazy things happened along the way. All my co-hosts were amazing, and of course I saved Charlene the best for last. Charlene and I went through so much together at the loss of her husband and then the new relationship, the new great marriage. Everything changes and everything is in God's timing. We have all learned that. We have all seen that. We have all lived that. And I hope today you laughed a little, you remembered a little. I know that today is one of the first days I've ever gotten through watching everything with Angela, and I didn't tear up at all because I know that she is in a very, very special place. And that's what God's timing is, and that's what, you know, we have to accept it. And it's just like it was Saturday when Dinah and Charlene and I were standing there together and we had all lost children. And we just accept that. It is His plan. So today, live your life according to His plan. Make somebody laugh, make somebody smile, be kind, be sweet, and do it because you can. You know, we all have the ability to do for others, and I think it's time we did that. I want to say congratulations to a young man, Noah Goebel from Elton, Kentucky. He actually won the fiddle championship, and you're going to get to see all of that because Trace spent his day with the musicians, and it's going to be a fun thing to share with y'all, and we'll be doing that in the next few weeks. So get ready for that. He's going to be editing, putting it together, and you will get to see all the kids, from the kids to the king of the fiddle. I hope you'll join us again on ETC, and don't forget, we go straight to YouTube as soon as we get off the air. Remember to tell your friends, tell your neighbors. ETC is available in more areas than ever. Pick up the phone and call 706-253-2271. Bye, y'all.